Buckle up for another episode of Ghostfacer's Supernatural Rewatch Podcast. My name is Richard, and sitting shotgun as always is my brother in podcasting, Reed.
Yeah, welcome to the Garden of Earthly Delights. I guess we might as well just fucking do whatever.
What's going on?
I'm just stretching out. We're gonna do some sex Olympics.
Oh, sorry, who?
COVID is horrible, and the world is ending, and I figure I might as well just embrace the chaos and live life kind of to the fullest.
It's just you and me in here.
Is that a problem?
Let's go.
Ghostfacers! We visit ghosts, we're others, we're not, we're ghosts! Ghostfacers! Stay in the kitchen when the kitchen gets hot! Ghostfacers! We visit nightmare, we visit dread! Ghostfacers! We visit faceless, we visit dead!
Welcome to Ghostfacers. Today we're discussing Season 5, Episode number 4, The End
Of the show.
Boom, boom, boom. This is the end, my friend.
What song are you singing?
This is the end.
Are you trying to do The End by the Doors?
Yeah.
Like, this is the end, my only friend, the end. Yeah. What were you singing?
That was it. That was just
Hey, weigh in. Was Richard singing the song?
Name one time that I've sang a thing wrong.
Oh, I love that.
Since we're talking about you weighing in, why don't we talk about a time you did weigh in by reviewing our podcast?
Okay.
We've got a
I
review.
thought this was going to be a fat joke about me.
Speaking of weighing in.
Yeah.
Have you looked at the weight rating of your house for you?
Yeah, I always get pulled over to where they make transport trucks clock in.
Yeah, I saw you running the other day. You lost control and had to go up one of those ramps.
I like that. That's very funny.
Yeah, we got a review from Timothy Fisher via Apple Podcasts USA with the subject, I'm upset and disappointed,
Okay.
with a 5-star review.
Love that.
So they go on to say, if you don't want to read the ramblings of a crazy listener, don't read, ...
All right, well, let's move on.
Unfortunately,
Fine, we'll read it.
Unfortunately, I got my hopes up when I first found this by accident. I found it before a 12-hour drive to SC with my girlfriend driving back to my last semester at college. I can't remember how many episodes I watched, but I couldn't figure it out. I really didn't like anything they did. And their voices were ... Just kidding! My girlfriend, who hasn't seen much of SPN... She loved you guys.
And it hurts my feelings.
We both realized very quickly that you guys not only have everything, you've got great voices too.
Oh, thank you.
Unfortunately, it's a bit hard for us to find podcasts to listen to because if we don't care for the voices, we can't get past it. But you guys nailed it.
We are pretty good at voices.
I think they meant our own voices. But yeah, sure.
Walk her up.
But
her emails.
Let's see that both so typical. But voices of angels. Your humor is great too. Definitely something that goes 0 to 100 real quick. Name one time. But man, you guys haven't compromised anything even up to this day. Maybe except for our dignity.
Yeah, well, obviously.
It was a surprise, and it was wonderfully refreshing. You guys love to do you. And Dean.
And Cass.
Yeah.
And some characters we haven't met yet.
And sometimes Sam.
And Ellen.
Yeah, I mean.
Ugh. Man, sorry, this is a bit of a tangent, but like I saw that image they released of Natalie Portman as Thor for the new movie.
Fully apropos of nothing. But
I'm gonna get fucking Pee Wee Herman. They're gonna arrest me in that theater.
I looked at that photo too much and I got Thor.
Jesus.
I'd ignore the reviews that think otherwise. We are full-on lore whores.
Yeah, baby.
And we love the bit of background you guys give on everything important. Yeah, baby.
Sandwiches.
Extra stuff like titles, bloopers, and music are important too.
That's they threw you that bone. We know it's about the lore segment. It's Dad's
thank
journal
you.
and sandwiches and the titles.
Thank you. Oh, I'll take your scraps. It's been 8 months of catching up, and I'm so close to catching up. Only sad it will be one a week, but we've got years together.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God. I mean, are you?
We're all gonna grow old together.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I can't wait for me to have like slightly gray hair and to have a very frowny face.
Hang on. Where are we now? We're in season 5.
Mhm.
We do roughly 2 seasons a year, which means that by the time we finish this,
Oh, I don't like this. Uh-oh.
in it's what did I say? I think it'd be like early 2027. I think is where it will
Sure.
run out of this show.
Uh-oh.
So 5 years from now.
Uh-oh. We'll be 40.
Oh no. Oh no.
Oh, I'm 40.
I'm 40. I'm a 40-year-old magician.
Yeah. P.S. Call me crazy, but I think Baby is the real smoke show of the show. You're fucking crazy. That's not. Yeah, she's fine.
I'd fuck that car.
You gotta stop saying that.
Thank you for the review.
Very much
That's
appreciated.
Yeah, that's a
Timothy.
lovely review.
Also, that girlfriend of yours, what she's got going on?
Easy.
What? Just curious.
Well, hang on. He said they were heading back to SC. Does that mean South Carolina or Southern California?
Based on our
I'm
stats,
I'm
gonna
just
say
asking
California.
because wasn't he going to university in Southern
Oh
California?
no!
You gotta watch out for your girlfriend.
Oh no!
Yeah, you gotta put some fire suppressant on the ceiling.
Smart.
Yeah, that'll do
Nice.
it.
All right, let's talk about this episode,
Sure.
which aired October. Nope, that's probably not. Yeah, it is. No, it is October 1st, 2009. I get
Wow.
worried because sometimes I forget. It's okay. It's fine. That's when it airs.
Hours to do the
It
notes for the
does!
show.
It
now
does!
I don't even know if I did them.
This episode was written by Ben Edlund and directed by Steve Boyum.
Yeah.
Viewed by an estimated 2.62 million viewers.
Yeah.
It's not super great, but
But I got to imagine that this number will continue to drop as we go. Because TV is doing that in general.
Yeah.
Where they were like, oh my God, The Flash is we were going to renew it forever. It had 900,000,
sure, yeah.
We're probably just going to see that anyway.
I
right?
think that this always kind of stays around here. I don't think it ever drops.
even into season 15.
I think so.
Because that would make this show massive by the time it on that relative scale of TV.
I know it never drastically changes much because it keeps its audience, but
That's kind of crazy then, because then that makes it by the end one of the biggest shows on TV.
now I'm kind of curious.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I know that because it's always said that their audience sort of stays around the same.
I mean that's great for them if that's true. That's just kind of wild.
Well, let's watch the promo for this week
Sure,
and see if maybe that has something to do with it.
Sure. How come some of it's in black and white and some of it's not?
I think it's how they're trying to distinguish.
And then
between...
also, why would they start with the go get washed up for the orgy? I'm Cass. And they go, I'll fucking kill you, Sam. In 30 seconds.
I think what they're trying to do is be
running the gamut
everything is happening.
the gamut of human emotion.
Yeah. My guess is that's what they were trying to accomplish.
I mean, it obviously doesn't work.
No. They're also just
It doesn't make any sense. That's a super alienating promo.
for sure.
Yeah, I think I'm starting to respect the art of the promo. It's not just cut fun moments together or even cut any moments together. There's a real art form to trailers and ads and promos and stuff like that I think is relatively unappreciated.
100%. I mean, we've seen good stuff and bad stuff, and I think it just comes down to effort.
We're thinking how many movies where you're like, man, the movie's garbage, but that trailer is fucking amazing.
Yeah. I just looked, and yeah, by like the 15th season, they're like 1.5 ish.
I mean, that's still good.
Yeah.
That's strong as hell. Yeah. Wow.
So, all right, let's get to international titles. So, The End, as we said at the beginning, is the self-titled album and song of The Doors.
Yes. Most famous from Apocalypse Now.
Is it? Oh,
yeah.
I've never seen Apocalypse Now.
Oh my God.
We're watching. We're today. We're talking about the Apocalypse Now.
Now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then.
Oh my God. Oh my God. We only have one this week that we're going to talk about because everybody else did The End.
Right.
Pretty simple one.
Sure.
Except for Germany.
Nothing ever ends. The suffering is eternal.
Theirs is involving the end, but their title is Endgame. Mm-hmm.
On your left.
Oh my God.
On your left, Dean.
Oh my God. Holy shit. Would you cry at that too?
I probably would. If they had a thing like, I probably would. Yeah, we've talked about this maybe on this show, but definitely on Dr. DC, where I have a now uncontrollable cry reflex when like people come together in like
hey, they come together in this episode
in a critical moment, you know, where it's like we could do this, and like just like I can't stop myself anymore.
Yeah, you can. You guys gonna do it together?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've witnessed you cry.
I mean, I definitely I was so upset at I shouldn't be. It was a massive movie and I was super invested in the characters and that, but I cried in Endgame and I was like, what a fucking stupid thing to cry in. I'm so like embarrassed for myself, but I couldn't stop.
No, they won't.
Yeah. Yeah, I almost cried in Rise of Skywalker, even though that movie is garbage. That moment, I was like, well, that's exactly it.
Yeah.
I was like, damn it. It's like, this one moment in this absolute garbage movie is exactly what they should have been going towards the whole time.
I wonder if you need the build-up or if they could just make a whole movie of people coming together and you can just be crying through
I think I need a little bit of
context, at least.
Context.
Yeah,
but yes, you're right. I mean, I'm probably a little more hair trigger than I care to admit. Yeah.
All right, featured music from this episode. The song "Do You Love Me" by The Contours.
I'm just gonna, I'm gonna chime in as Kyle Clark here and say, why didn't they get the end?
Sure, yeah. Yeah, that's a thing that this show doesn't do, which is like name something after a thing and then never use that song in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really fully know why, but I think that, like, at least for where they wanted to use music in this, it would not have made sense if they used the end.
No. But it is kind of funny.
Yes. TV Guide describes this episode as Dean travels 5 years into the future and is attacked by zombies who were turned into monsters after being infected with a demonic virus. Sam and Dean soon learn that the virus is Satan's tool. Nice. To destroy mankind.
Is that what happens? Zombies who become monsters because of the virus? I don't think that's how that works.
Well, no, I think it's the zombies. They're zombies because they were turned into monsters by being infected by the demon virus. It's a weird sentence structure.
Especially in a show that, like, we actually have zombies.
And
they're
not really zombies.
Yeah.
No.
Instead of just saying, like, people got infected by a demon virus, they have to, like, go take you through this big circuitous, kind of vaguely confusing description.
Yeah. I guess they're trying to do it in a way give people context who don't watch the show, maybe.
Sure, yeah.
But it is a very funny.
It is a kind of like 28 Days Later sort of scenario.
Maybe if it was like they were attacked by zombies, who were turned into monsters by the thing, a comma would have really helped there. Wasn't in there.
No.
So blame the writers again.
Grammar Corner.
Yeah.
No,
stop. Not everything needs to be a segment.
I got a new segment all the time.
That's not the last thing that anybody wants to listen to is Grammar Corner.
What if I made it
for an audio podcast?
What if I made it sexy? What if we talked about the colon?
Can you give me a semicolon? I can go into the colon, but I only have a semi.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be more of like a thumbing in kind of scenario.
I always dash.
You know what's really funny? I saw a thing the other day that was, I don't know if you saw it. I think one of our mutual friends shared it, where it was like a colon, a semicolon, a comma, and something else, and it's like writers be like, and it's just the dash.
That's I mean, it's true. It's true.
It's like, oh, just dash saved. Yeah.
Do you know what it is? I actually
Why
don't
are we
want to
doing
turn
grammar
this
corner?
into a grammar corner. But you know what it is as a writer is that even though technically things like commas, semicolons, colons all have a function in the sentence, there's something to be said for the visual demarcation of a dash. Does a lot more work for people in terms of separating like a clause out of a sentence than something that is like a semicolon is like easy to skip past because your brain either goes it's a colon or it's like it's easy to actually confuse it. But a dash, you're like, okay, this is like a separate thought within this thought. There's something to be said for making it more like visually accessible. Like I use parentheticals and dashes way more than I use like the appropriate proper grammar tools, but I think it's because I don't trust people to read things properly.
I mean, that's very true.
This is fun content, right?
Yeah, this is good podcasting.
This is good to do.
You like Supernatural, you must like this.
Yeah.
Now onto the sandwiches.
Timothy took back his review.
Oh no. His girlfriend didn't though.
Oh no.
Nice.
Sorry, Tim.
Look, grammar always gets them.
Yeah.
Well, before we talk about today's episode, why don't we open up Dad's journal and learn about some of the real world lore? Sometimes my mouth gets ahead of my brain.
Let's see what the lore says about pandemics.
I'm so glad you found your way to what this week's lore is.
I had no idea what I was going to do, and then I remembered what the episode was about.
Yeah, and you know what's going on in society right now.
Yeah, I mean, listen, for today's lore segment, just look out your window.
Yeah.
No. So a pandemic is obviously this is such like an insane thing to like explain.
Yeah, why don't you mansplain to the society what a pandemic is right now?
It's not mansplain. I'm not like, hey, ladies, I'll tell you.
Oh, so you can only mansplain to ladies?
Huh. I think by definition, because it is an act of sexism.
Yeah, but it isn't just about who it's coming from.
No, it's also about who you're explaining to.
No, yeah, explain to me what mansplaining is.
Hang on. Hang on now. So have I doubled down on being problematic?
Welcome to the podcast.
Holy shit. Beyond the pale now.
Pandemics.
Right. So the spread of an infectious disease, and it's spread across a very large region. So like countries, continents, worldwide. You
have a big issue with incontinent.
Pitbull style.
Yeah.
Mr. Worldwide. Yeah. Hey, how bad is this disease? It's Pitbull style.
Oh no, that's worldwide. That's Mr. Worldwide to you.
Yeah, Mr. Worldwide was my father. It comes from a Greek. It's a Greek compound word. So pan means all.
Sure.
And then demos means like people or crowd, like democracy or things like that. So it basically means like all people.
Cool.
Is what a pandemic is. So being widespread, though, doesn't necessarily make something a pandemic. Cancer, for example, is not a pandemic.
Sure.
It's because there has to have an infectious component, right? Like if cancer was airborne, then it would be a pandemic.
So this podcast is a pandemic.
Definitely.
Spreading
like wildfire.
Hell yeah.
Pitbull style.
Worldwide.
And interestingly enough, even being infectious, not everything that is worldwide counts as a pandemic. So if there's a widespread disease that has like a stable number of affected individuals, like it's not growing or it doesn't kind of go in waves or things like that. Think like seasonal flu or things like that. That's called an endemic. It just means this is a thing in the world and we live with it.
Sure.
So you've probably heard the word endemic being thrown around in the news. It's because people are coming to the realization that like we just live with COVID now.
What's that?
What?
What's COVID?
Oh no.
What? I haven't been outside in a while.
Oh, I just figured you knew because you keep joining convoys and things like that.
I just like freedom. You got a problem with freedom? Do you have a problem
I
with
don't have a problem with freedom.
Elmer and John hit the road?
Yeah, this is my pitch to Warner Brothers, who own both of these properties.
I mean, that's true. They go on a hunting trip. Holy shit.
I haven't seen him in a while.
Yeah.
That wascally John.
Yeah, Emma hasn't been around in a while.
So wait, Bugs is a demon?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's up, Gad? So, the World Health Organization has like a 6-phase assessment for pandemics. Phases 1 to 3 are like initial. They're not sure if it'll actually become a pandemic thing. So they talk, I think this is based specifically on like strains of influenza, but phase 1 is like they recognize that there are animal to animal transfers of a disease. Phase 2 is there's animal to human transfer. Phase 3 is like sporadic or clustered human to human transfers. And then phase 4 to 6 is like, oh shit, fuck, oh no. So phase 4 is like sustained community level outbreaks. 5 is it's sustained in 2 countries in one like World Health Organization region.
Sure.
And then phase 6 is like, it's in multiple regions. Interestingly, pandemic severity used to be based solely on fatality rate.
Really?
Yeah, which is like, the current system isn't like that because they were like, that's not a great measurement for how severe a thing is.
It's also not like you can't really be preventative of a thing, and if you're only counting it as something once too many people have died.
Well, yeah. Well, there's that to it too. But so part of the reason they moved away from that is that it's actually hard. It's very hard to measure total case counts versus fatalities. Sometimes fatalities occur months after the infection.
Especially when
they look unrelated, but they might not be.
Especially when it's like someone's spine's ripped out of their body.
Yeah, fatality.
Yeah. And then like girls come in with bikinis.
Yeah.
Babality.
That's my favorite. Yeah, that's my favorite part of COVID.
Yes, when the girls with bikinis show up. Babality.
And then also the fact that like a fatality is just one, but not necessarily the worst effect of an infection.
Sure.
Like there are worse
bubonic
things,
plague.
but there are worse things in infectious. I mean, that one did kill like a third of Europe. But like, imagine there's a disease that kills no one, but like it paralyzes everyone.
Sure.
It's like, that's bad. And if you're only measuring based on fatality, they'd be like, it's fine.
Yeah.
Like nobody died.
Yeah. Sure.
So they moved away from that. The current measurement for pandemic severity is a combination of sort of 2 different scales. One is the severity of the illness in infected persons. So does it like affect your brain? Can it kill you? Does it, affect mobility or cognitive function or things like that? And then the other scale is how transmissible is it? So just because you can catch a thing, that is very bad. If it's very difficult to catch the thing, that lowers its severity versus something that is...
Sure, yeah.
So in the case of COVID, our current pandemic, the Delta variant was extremely...
transmissible?
No, it was the opposite.
Oh.
It was extremely, whatever you call it, violent. It was.
Sure.
It would cause more damage to you. It was a much harsher strain of COVID.
Okay.
But it's way less transmissible than the was the Omicron.
That's
the
more
Omicron one where they were like it's like a bad flu.
Yeah.
But it's the easiest to get.
Yeah.
So there are kind of different scales of it, and like it's not necessarily that one trumps the other, but that's part of how they measure those things. So there are 3 kind of pandemic measures. 2 of them are pretty common. They're called containment and mitigation. So containment might mean like closing borders or contact tracing or individual quarantines or things like that. Mitigation involves like increased safety procedures, like masking, having vaccines. You're doing things to like cut down on the possibility of infection. There's a third thing called suppression, which is what they're doing to our freedoms. I mean, kind of. It includes the things like social distancing, mass quarantine, stuff like that. It's a good thing though, because like you got to stop a disease.
Yeah, take away my freedoms.
Please.
Yeah. Some people maybe don't deserve them.
Easy.
Some people.
I actually agree with
No,
that.
wait, no. That's not what I meant. You were who I was talking about.
Repeal the...
No. Oh, no.
So, obviously, our current pandemic is COVID, which sucks. So, here's a list of notable pandemics.
Fun.
The Black Death, obviously, bubonic plague killed 75 to 200 million people.
Yeah. At that time, that was like a lot of the population.
It was a third of Europe.
Yeah.
Essentially died during that. There's let's see. They call it the Antonine Plague, which is in the 2nd century. And it was possibly measles or smallpox brought to the Italian peninsula by soldiers returning from fighting in the Near East.
Oh, it's not like a sexy tight shirt wearing cook who teaches you how to make food. The Antony Plague.
Oh, Jesus. Wow. Stretch.
It's the only type of comedy I know.
That one killed up to like 5 million people in total, which is pretty bad. More recently, Spanish flu, that's come up a lot, especially in the context of COVID. People have talked a lot about the Spanish flu, which was like in the late teens, early 20s of the 20th century.
Sure.
And that spread, it infected 500 million people around the world, including remote Pacific Islands and in the Arctic, and it killed between 20 and 100 million.
Ay.
Jesus. Come on, man.
What?
That's it. I'm done.
Spicy.
Good Lord.
Well, those are pandemics. If you haven't been thinking about pandemics lately.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring it to people's attention.
Yeah. And with that, why don't we get into today's episode?
Sure.
The end, which starts with not the end, but the then.
Oh, the then.
The then.
The then.
I want you to then over.
Wow.
And it's only it's one of those things that sounds bad, but actually isn't.
Oh my God, that's not a thing. It doesn't.
Bend over and take it
Now.
Oh, whoa! Sweet.
Weird energy. Chaotic energy in the studio again.
Look, I've got some spicy.
Is this our Croatoan virus?
I got some spicy cream in me right now, and
Easy. Please stop calling it that.
What?
Bailey's Irish cream.
Yeah,
Keep
spicy
calling it
cream.
Spicy cream.
Yeah, I got spicy creamed in the mouth this morning, and I'm ready to podcast.
Jesus Christ.
Took some hot black liquid and put some spicy
Black?
cream. Yeah. If you order coffee,
Oh, coffee.
yeah, hot black liquid
Yeah.
down my throat with some spicy cream. Obviously means coffees with Baileys.
Sir, this is a Wendy's.
Give me my spicy cream and hot black liquid, and I'll leave. Also, give me some of that chunky beef juice. It's called chili, sir.
Chunky beef juice. Oh, that's gross as shit. Wow. Jesus. Good Lord. This is how I know God is dead.
Yeah, because I get to exist.
Because you get to say stuff like that. Put it out into the world.
The then is largely, it's literally just like 2 scenes. It's basically just Sam leaving because of his addiction.
Yeah.
It's the separation of the boys. It's and sort of the overwrought sort of emotion of Sam can't control his addiction.
I need to leave. Right.
I like that that's just also your impression of your daughter when she's faking being upset.
I'm not a good actor. I only have 9 things I can do.
I don't
And I've taken up so many of those slots with making characters alt-right.
I need a hug.
Yeah. That's how she talks.
Was it just fully triggered my brain of why is she in this episode?
That's true. That is exactly how she talks.
Then we go into the now. This episode begins as Dean parks in front of a hotel in Kansas City as a sidewalk preacher tries to reach passerbys.
Which, I mean, that's a tough gig. I mean, it's hard enough to be out on the sidewalk soliciting for, like, worthwhile things.
Yeah.
Like charity or things like that. Like, that's a rough gig. Everyone has, like, a place to go. No one wants to stop and talk. You know, even when it's, like, something good and worthwhile. But now you're going to, like, stop people's day to talk about fucking God.
Is it JWs that we have downtown?
Oh, yeah, we've got Jehovah's Witnesses.
Yeah. I couldn't remember if they were Mormons or not, but yeah.
No, they're Jehovah's Witnesses. There's a Kingdom Hall in Riverdale.
Oh, okay, yeah. But Dean goes into the hotel and he discusses with Castiel on the phone about how demons keep the cult. Keeping the cult makes no sense. They would surely have melted it down by now, but Castiel is sure that it is about and that finding it is the only way that they can kill Lucifer.
Yeah, he says, like, if you plan on going through with this insane plan to kill the devil, you're going to need the cult.
Exactly. And if they're still intent upon this insane task of trying to do so.
Just said that.
Castiel gets Dean's. I mean, you said his emotions towards it, but I actually described what happened.
I also said the insane plan. I
you just said a component of it. You said the thing. I'm actually describing what happened. Castiel gets Dean's location and wants to meet immediately, but Dean demands that he leave for like 4 hours.
Yeah, Dean says, like, I'm human. I need time to, like, rest. Although the way he says it, where he's like, I just need time. I was like, is Dean gonna jerk off? I was like,
I can help you with that if you want, Dean. Do you need to relieve yourself? Do you have some spicy cream you need to get out?
Good Lord. Jesus Christ. Stop calling things spicy cream. You fucking maniac.
I thought maybe it was the thing I called it, so I changed its use.
Good Lord.
He's driven for 16 hours and he needs rest.
Yeah. So he's like, just meet me in the morning. And Cass, it's so funny. Cass is like, all right, I guess I'll just wait here. Just standing on the side of a road,
so
perfectly
funny.
Still. I fucking love that.
That moment is so funny.
It's such a good moment. It's really funny.
Yeah, he's just like, I'm an angel. Like, I'll just chill. That's fine. He's got, like, what is he going to do? He's not going to check his phone. Like,
no, of course.
So funny.
Yeah, it's really good.
He does also say, like, quickly, because he's got his phone. He's like the person on the phone saying, I'm running out of minutes.
Yeah.
Which is also another really good line.
Yeah, I do like that we're starting to get a little bit more of, like Cass as, like, an angel version of Crocodile Dundee. Like,
yes.
I like more of the fish out of water thing.
Yeah.
Like, the longer he's here, the more he has to interact with these things, like, you know, collect calls or, like, shit like that. Is very funny.
The sort of, like, administration and bureaucracy of, like, humanity. Are collect calls
even a thing anymore?
Huh. They must be.
Because there are still technically payphones, right?
Yeah. Also, yeah. Can you do a collect call not on a payphone?
Great question. I mean, wasn't that the point? Whereas, like, you couldn't pay for the long distance, so you could call collect, reverse the thing, let the other person pay for it. Which seems like a weird system.
Yeah. Yeah, this is really relevant comedy, isn't it? Talking about collect calls.
Yeah. The history of the telephone segment?
Things can just be information.
I don't think so.
They don't need to be recurring.
I think they kind of have to recur.
It's how you know that it's good content if it keeps coming out.
You're going to tell me things don't have to recur?
Later that night, Dean's phone buzzes. It is a panicked Sam. He tells him that Lucifer has approached him and declared him as his vessel.
Yeah, which we just learned last episode. That's right.
Sam's
like, the kind of fucked up thing is, like, Lucifer looked like my ex-girlfriend and
wanted to be inside of me. How do I say no?
Oh, man. I already said yes.
Yeah.
I'm just, heads up.
This is happening, BT dubs. And Dean says, just when you thought you were out, they pull you back in, which is a reference to Godfather Part 3 from 1990, when a retired Michael Corleone says, just when I thought I was out, they pull me back in.
Yeah. And Dean is this is an interesting phone call. Dean is kind of being like, yeah, all right. Like, but you could also tell
this sounds like a you problem.
But you could also tell he's like, it is kind of nice to talk to Sam.
Sure.
You know, like there's a
Shorty,
tension.
why you calling me so late?
Oh yeah. I can't even remember what, sucking on the blood of a demon.
Tastes so sweet. Never mind. Recurring stuff is important.
Thank you. It is interesting because Dean is saying stuff like that, which is usually how he responds to Sam when he's kind of brushing him off.
Yeah.
He says something kind of flippant or whatever, but there is this sort of like, he's not just like, so what do you tell? He's like, sorry, bud. Blah, blah. And Sam's like, I got to come back. I need back into the hunting. I got to help it. Dean's like, listen, I'm kind of glad you told me this, but like, we're clearly each other's weakness. We're better off alone.
He says we're the fire and oil of the Armageddon, which is like if we come together, it just makes things worse, and we're actually weaker together.
Yeah.
Which is a hard. Did you say those words exactly?
Yes, I said we're weaker together.
I'm too busy paying attention to my important notes.
Wow.
I spent hours putting these together.
No.
Phone much?
Oh no.
Yeah, you dropped it on a carpet. It's done. He reminds Sam that the players in control will always use their devotion to each other against them to reach their own ends. Sam begs him to reconsider, insisting that they can defeat him, but Dean tearfully refuses and hangs up on him.
Yeah, it is pretty sad. It's a good moment between them. Yeah, and Dean basically goes to bed.
Yeah, then suddenly wakes up in a trashed out hotel room.
Yeah. Looks like shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Dean is like, what? And he's like looking around, and it's like bombed out. It's not like someone came in and stole stuff. It's like this place is like a ruin.
Yeah, and he looks out a broken window and sees that Kansas City has been laid to waste.
I gotta say, this shot and like the kind of subsequent stuff in the city is the best the show has looked in a while.
Yeah, they do a really,
There's
really
some
good
like
job.
Great sets.
Yeah.
In this episode.
When he looks out the window of the motel, there's a movie theater sign that says now showing Route 666, obviously being a reference to the episode Route 66 from season 1.
Yeah.
It is also a reference to the supernatural Hollywood Babylon from 2007 in season 2, where the director of the haunted movie says that they were hunting. There's a poster for a supposed movie Route 66 in there, so it's connecting all of this stuff together. But Dean goes outside, and there are no other people around. He starts,
and it's all it looks like war happened. Like buildings are destroyed and cars are flipped, and it's all charred and shit. And it's it looks great. It's an amazing set.
Totally. Until he comes across a little girl cowering in an alley.
And I mean, come on, Dean. It's like rule number 1 of horror shit.
Yeah. He's
like, hey, little girl, you okay? And she doesn't answer. And it's like, that's your first clue to run away.
Yeah. And she fully proceeds to attack him.
Yeah. She like spits blood up and like turns like, Rah!
Forcing him to defend himself, revealing that in fact
fucking punches her in the face and knocks her out. Which like I laughed.
Oh, yeah.
I laughed so hard. I was like, I guess it's not funny, but like it's pretty funny.
It's very funny, and this scene closely mirrors the opening of The Walking Dead Days Gone By 2010 pilot.
Yeah, it does.
Sheriff Rick Grimes basically has a very similar thing, sees a girl, and he says, a little girl, I'm a policeman, don't be afraid, and the girl turns around to reveal that she's a zombie.
Yeah, that's true, actually. That's a good point.
Jensen Ackles has also admitted that he's a huge Walking Dead comic series fan.
Right. Yeah, I mean, a lot of Walking Dead vibes in this
episode. Exactly. So Dean starts to realize what's happening. He sees then like a Croatoan army.
Yeah, like a bunch of people, and they kind of turn, do like the like, be like, well, that's a fucked up head turn, and they start chasing him. Yeah. This sequence where he's being chased, again, like probably some of the most dynamic camera movement we've seen in an episode for a while too. Kind of going in and around him, like we're going through. You know, we're moving with him through the rubble and that. It's not just like, you know, static shots of, you know, like mid and wide and that. We're actually like tracking the camera through with Dean and stuff. Like it's got a real like action
Totally, yeah.
vibe to it. Has this director done another episode, or is this a first time in?
No, yeah, he's been in the.
Has he?
Yeah.
I couldn't remember.
Yeah,
but
Steve Boyum.
oh, how could I not remember?
Exactly.
Yeah, no, it's very well done
For sure.
It's really dynamic.
Eventually, Dean runs into a dead end, and just before they descend upon him, a heavily armed military unit appears and opens fire. That's when we get
Yes.
the song.
Yeah.
Do you love me? Which is like a very like, apocalypse-y now sort of like.
It's definitely like that. It's also it's that like America. We're gonna
Party while we kill.
We're gonna gleefully kill.
Yes.
And they start gunning down all the Croatoans.
Barely missing Dean, but
Dean,
allowing him to escape.
Dean escapes.
Yeah. Night falls, and he merges from his hiding place. He sees no entry warning sign on the fence designated Kansas City as a Croatoan virus hot zone.
Yeah.
The date is August 1st, 2014.
Yeah. He's like, oh shit, it's
5
the
years.
future.
Yeah, that's right. He's confused. He and decides he's going to hotwire an abandoned car and speed off.
Yeah.
As he tries to find a cell signal or even a radio signal, Zachariah teleports into the car, much to Dean's dismay.
Yeah. Yeah. And Zachariah is like, hey, I did this.
And he's like, I thought I smelled your stink on this Back to the Future crap.
Yeah. Just more love for Kurt Fuller because he's so good.
Yeah. The best.
Yeah.
Zachariah has arrived with a newspaper and languidly begins reading the horrible headlines aloud. Croatoan pandemic reaches Australia. President Palin defends the bombing of Houston. Probably the worst part of this whole thing.
Yeah.
There are no more sports. What's left of Congress has revoked the right of public assembly.
Yeah. And Zachariah says, like, you did this.
Yeah.
You refuse to let Michael in.
Let him inside of you.
Let him in you.
Dean wants to know how he even found him, and because he's got the Nokian sigils like inside on his rib cage. Zachariah mockingly laments that they've had to resort to unorthodox methods of using human informants.
Yeah, he basically says angels have been like touching down with like the faithful and being like, watch out for Dean.
And then we go back.
So that guy that was on the sidewalk was like snitching.
Very funny.
Yeah.
Dean demands that he sends him back to 2009, but Zacharias says that he wants him to remain in the future for 3 days because he needs him to see the state of the world.
He says he wants him to marinate a bit.
Yeah.
Because you need to really take in how fucked up this is, and then you will see things our way, and you will let Michael in.
Exactly.
Basically.
Dean then arrives at Bobby's place.
Yeah.
It is in shambles.
And it's pretty fucked up. The wheelchair's tipped over. When he tips it up, there's just bullet holes and like blood stains on it. You're like, oh no, Bobby.
Yeah. Bobby's a little bit lighter.
Oh, Jesus.
Some holes in him. He goes to the secret hiding.
Like Swiss Bobby.
Yeah. Nice.
Gross.
He goes to the secret hiding place of Bobby's journal and finds a picture of several men with shotguns, Bobby and Cass among them, posing beside a welcome sign to Camp Chiquita. Or Chautauqua.
Chautauqua.
That's the one. Weird. He goes to the camp under the cover of darkness and eludes the guards at the gate.
Yeah, they're not great guards.
No.
If you have guards,
Make them good.
yeah,
Hot take.
that's yeah.
Get better guards.
Yeah, fortification segment.
Yeah. Famous bad guards. Wizard of Oz.
Oh, we-o. Yeah. I love guards that are just like, we only see any one part of fence like once every 10 minutes.
Yes. Yeah.
It's like, that's not how you guard.
No.
That's the opposite of how you guard.
It's like in guarding school, that's the first thing.
It's the first thing they teach you. It's guarding 101, baby.
That was guarding segment. He recognizes his junked out baby among the vehicles in the compound.
It's like, oh no, baby, what do they do to you? This is a cool shot. Dean is like down looking inside baby. He's like, oh, what did they do to you? He gets punched and knocked out, and the camera comes up, like, just up from the window, and it's Dean.
Oh my God, hot Dean on Dean action.
We got double Dean, baby.
Yeah, give me the double D.
Yeah, hot Deans in your future.
In your area.
Yeah.
Oh no, future is better. Yeah, never
Yeah,
mind.
that's why I said it.
Yeah, that's good. I'll give it to you. Now give me that spicy Dean juice.
Come on.
Now Dean awakes to find himself cuffed to a fixed ladder and future Dean staring at him across the room.
Yeah, Becky furiously masturbating in the corner.
Just downstairs DJing like a menace.
Yeah, no, it's good. Our Dean is like, I'm not a monster or whatever. You gotta let me loose. And Dean's like, listen, I know I gave you holy water, I did silver, I tested everything when you were out. But here's the interesting thing: you have all of my pickpocket tools, my knife, my gun, everything I always carry on me.
Yeah.
So who the fuck are you?
Yes. So in the scenes where we get both Deans together, Jensen performed this with his stunt double, Todd Scott. Another actor was initially hired to do it, but didn't work out. Right. Also, the future version of Dean is not wearing the amulet Sam gave him, which is interesting. Probably thrown away when like Sam becomes who he is.
Yeah, it's probably something like that. Also, vaguely important that he doesn't have that. Vaguely. Doesn't 100% work, but...
So, now Dean explains that he's been transported into 2014 of this timeline from the year 2009.
And he's like, Zachariah, he's a dick. And the other Dean goes like, yeah.
He's like, that does add up.
Yeah.
And asks him about how now Dean doesn't know and just wants to go back to his timeline. Still skeptical, future Dean challenges now Dean to tell him something that he would only know.
Yeah, and I guess this counts. I will say I don't actually think this is problematic, but it's right on the, like, you could write this just like 3 degrees differently,
like 2 more words in it,
and it's a problem.
100%. Dean recalls when they were 19, Rhonda Hurley made them try on her pink satin panties, and they kind of liked it.
Yeah, they're right. It's satin. Are you fucking crazy?
Yeah, feels great on your bits.
Yeah. I was in the Rocky Horror Show. Yeah, that's better underwear.
Were you just? Oh yeah, because there's the there we go. Okay, I'm like, oh, I'm learning more about you.
Yeah, the floor show, baby. I had to get all corseted, and I had garters and everything.
You still have that, or?
Yeah, it would fit me now.
Future Dean cracks
Look like
a little
fucking
smile.
Broken sausage machine.
Oh no. Is that the title of your sex tape?
Broken sausage machine. Title of my comedy album. There we go.
I thought that was Shredded and Dead.
I can't use that one.
Future Dean cracks a little smile and says, "Touche."
Yeah.
Which I think is the line that fixes it. I think, like,
well, this is what I mean. It's actually not problematic. He's like, we had a sexual experience and we didn't tell anyone, and this is it. But like, you could write that like, you're right. Yeah. Like, it's just a few words away from being like, we did something gay.
Yes.
Which is like the wrong way to do that.
Yes.
They just skirt it. I think an earlier season of Supernatural would have fucked that up.
There's a movie
is what I mean.
There's a movie that I just saw like 2 days ago with I think this is why I messaged you the other day, which is it's Jack Black and James Marsden.
Oh, right.
It's called The D Train.
I don't even know that movie.
No one does, and it's not even very well reviewed. It's from like 2015, but it does a really interesting thing because it's one of those things that's like right on the line.
Right.
Basically, this guy like is like Jack Black plays this character who's working for this like sales company, and he ends up like he's also running the like his high school reunion,
Sure.
and so he nobody really gives a shit about it, and he's trying to get people to care about it, and so then he makes the decision to try to get like the cool guy from high school,
Right.
who he was kind of always obsessed with,
Right.
And he's like Jack Black plays this like straight married guy who ends up like reaching out to this dude. He ends up going to LA under the auspice that he's like doing the sales thing, just so that he can go party with this guy, who's a bit of the like. He's like still thinks he's the cool guy.
Right.
They end up having this cool experience, and at the end of the night, they end up having like a homosexual like experience. And the rest of the movie is about like how like Jack Black like maybe liked it and like becomes obsessed with this other guy.
Right.
And then gets jealous of other people like wanting to be around him, and it's like right on the cusp of being problematic.
Does it pull it off?
He
Or
does.
Is it, oh,
Because like at the end, the guy's just like. Because Jack Black is so like hesitant to say why he's obsessed with him, and they both know what had happened, and like it's like this big thing at the end of at the reunion, and he's like I just want to talk to you, and the guy's just like, and the cool guy in the middle of the entire high school reunion is just like, what do you want to talk about? Do you want me to say that like we fucked and it meant something to me? Didn't mean anything to me, and he like fully just like, yeah, I fucked you, like whatever, who gives a shit? And it's like, all right.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. It's like heartbreaking, but
so
also
it's
like
progressive and douchey.
yes, which is kind of like the next level progressive.
Yeah,
I think.
I guess. Yeah. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. It's one of those things where it's like
what an odd.
it's an interesting premise. It's very much like Jack Black's like weird indie sort of career, which I always like. But the movie wasn't very well reviewed. But I thought I was like, this is progress. Make a bad movie about something interesting, and it doesn't really matter about the like sex part.
Yeah.
I liked it. Anyways, so they discuss the demons end game to finish.
Oh, right, the
such
episode,
a hard left turn.
Yeah, sorry.
They discuss the demons end game to finish off the human race with the Croatoan virus. Now Dean asks about Sam. Future Dean tells him that there was a heavyweight showdown in Detroit.
Yes.
Is this the first time that we've talked about like everything going down in Detroit?
I think so.
It's interesting because I know that becomes like a runner a bit.
Yeah.
For a long time.
Yeah.
But from what he understands, Sam didn't make it.
Yes.
Now Dean looks sad and somewhat ashamed to learn that he wasn't with him at the time.
Yeah, Dean is like, you weren't there, and Dean's like, we actually haven't spoken in like 5 years, basically, which is like essentially like from
the phone call,
basically.
Yeah. And that he hadn't spoke to 5 years prior to the showdown. He asks Future Dean if they'd ever tried to find him. Future Dean glumly replies that he's got other people to worry about.
Yeah, it's very sad. I mean, Dean right away is like, I gotta call Sam. Like our Dean is like, oh Jesus.
Yeah. Future Dean has a mission to do and leaves Now Dean shackled.
Yeah, and he's like, you just stay here. People are already spooked. They don't need to see 2 of us out there.
He's like, well, you don't trust me? He's like, yeah.
Yeah, and then Dean spends a bunch of time picking a nail out of a floorboard.
Yeah.
To pick the handcuffs.
Yeah. He tries to sneak out of the compound, but is approached by Chuck.
Yeah, Chuck is there. Chuck is basically like, he's now like the master of coin for this compound.
Yes.
He's like the quartermaster. He's
Yes.
like, we're doing pretty good on beans, but we're running
hygiene supplies.
We're running out of hygiene supplies and perishables and stuff like that. He's like coming to Dean with it because he's like, you're a Dean. You're our Dean.
Yes.
Because they don't know there's another one.
A flustered Dean suggests that they maybe share. Chuck is confused by this answer and then suddenly remembers and queries, are you supposed to be out on a mission right now? Now Dean is still flustered and says, yes, he was just on his way to the mission before he can...
Dean, classic, like, great cover.
Yeah. Really
I'm
not
going
good at
to
improv.
mission now.
I mission all the time.
This is mission time.
I talk to people. People always say how good I am at missioning.
Great mission.
Yeah.
Amazing mission.
It's the best mission.
No one's ever seen a mission this good.
People come to me with tears in their eyes to tell me how great a mission I am. Before he can turn to go, Ryza appears from behind and takes a very purposeful swing at him, followed by a kick.
And we learned that like Dean spent the night in someone else's cabin or whatever. And we're like, man, even in an apocalypse,
Can't help himself. Yeah.
get it, Dean.
Dean leaps behind Chuck using him as a shield from further abuse. Riza is angry, and future Dean that he spent time in another woman's cabin. She angrily leaves. Dean recovers and asks Chuck if Cass is still around.
Yeah, and Chuck's like, yeah, Cass is around.
Yeah, I don't think he's going anywhere.
Dean goes to this other like cabin on the compound and walks in, and Cass is like, there's candles lit, and there's like beads in the door, and there's that kind of like transcendental kind of music and stuff like that. And Cass is like, it's him and like 4 women sitting around.
Is it way even more than 4, isn't it?
I think it's just 4.
Okay.
But he's like, in the holy energy, it's surprisingly physical. And then he kind of clocks Dean and he goes, all right, ladies, why don't you go wash up for the orgy?
Hilarious. And he refers to Dean.
Sorry, wait.
Is this your sandwich segment? What is going on? What is happening?
Please accept this sandwich as a gesture of solidarity.
I'm sorry. What?
My sandwich.
That's right. It's time for the supernatural sandwich segment.
Someone made you a drop? Who made this drop?
This drop comes from Yokro at Scarebro.
Jesus Christ.
It's time for the supernatural sandwich segment.
What is the sandwich?
The kind of sandwich we're talking about?
Human?
Group sex.
Oh, I mean, we're getting real esoteric with the whole concept of
it's
sandwich.
A sandwich of sorts. I didn't actually have too much of this.
You just wanted a reason to play
I
that?
just really wanted to play this.
No, let's get into it. What's your favorite kind of sexual sandwich?
Have you ever been in a like accidentally or tangentially like part of like a multi-person sexual experience?
Accidentally?
Yeah.
What do you mean accidentally?
Like it just happens.
You've tripped and fall into multiple people?
Yeah.
You look so uncomfortable even just asking that question.
What's a good pre-orgy sandwich?
No, what are the condiments you want on your sexual sandwich?
I could save this.
Yeah. No. Let's have the conversation.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Have I ever been with multiple people in a sexual scenario?
Yeah.
Yeah, this very like normal question you ask your friend on a podcast. Sort of.
I've definitely been like at parties where stuff is like happening.
Oh, yeah.
As you like walk into a room, you're like, "What? Wrong room?"
Ironically, holding a sandwich. Yeah.
Always. I mean, it's me.
Yeah.
I'm definitely holding a sandwich.
I was in a scenario that was heading into that direction.
Yeah.
We've
all been there.
It was in high school.
Okay, never mind. We haven't all been there.
There was 2 girls, and I invited them over, and then we ended up we needed a place to go, and I was sleeping on like a single bed, so it was not going to happen in my room. But my parents weren't around, so I went into their room.
Wow.
Because I was like large bed, and nobody was around in the house, so I was like nice.
I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop. The way you're telling this story tells me the other shoe's going to drop.
Just wait. So as things were like heating up, my oldest brother like was looking for me, I guess, and then like opens the door, finds me with 2 girls, looks at us, and goes, "Nice."
That's so messed up.
Shuts the door and walks away, and I was like, "Well, this isn't happening anymore."
No, of course not. Jesus, good Lord.
That's my one scenario. What about you?
Yeah, almost one time.
Yeah. Details? Give me the details.
I'm all right. No,
come on.
Oh, fine. Yeah, no, it was. There were 4 of us.
Well,
and it was like one person really wanted it to be all 4 of us.
Was this like a 2 couples scenario?
Not couples, but yes.
Okay, sure. All right.
And one person really wanted it to be all 4 of us, and the rest of us were kind of just like, we just want something to happen.
Yeah, sure.
And then eventually, like, it just got to the point where it was like, okay, like, you 2 go over there. 2 people go elsewhere.
Yeah. Was maybe the person who really wanted it to happen, maybe were they like a theater person who maybe you were like acting with, and things kept escalating as you were performing together.
Not in the way you're describing, but yes, we were all theater people.
Yeah, obviously you were all theater people.
Yeah. Yeah. It was very uncomfortable.
Started with a back rub, and who knows what happened next.
Yeah. It was one of those things where it was like, I think like three of us were like, I don't know that any of us want to have a foursome.
Yeah, fair.
And then this person was like, I want him. Like, yeah,
I
it's
will.
gonna
This is-
happen. And then we just ended up being like, well, let's just pair off.
Sure,
We kinda
sure.
just did that.
Not as a swap, though.
No, because it wasn't like no one was in relationships. It was just four people.
Okay. That's even more interesting because
Yeah.
I can see couples who like sort of.
Yeah, that was not the scenario at all. It was like four single people.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Yeah. Wait.
Oh my god! Again, it's such a long drop. It's way too much build up. It's way too long.
Sandwich is a gesture.
Because then you're like, okay, good, now it's done. It's not though. There's more. I also like that you're doing this like an old person with your laptop up to the microphone. Yeah, not even from your phone, which would be sound better and easier.
Because of the file format, I actually couldn't play it from my phone.
If you want to send other drops,
Truly, I just wanted to play that because I actually had it last week and forgot about it
so
when I had a sandwich to talk about.
if you
Didn't really have a
no,
sandwich
no,
this
you did
week.
this to yourself. I'm making you follow through with it. But if you want to send future drops, you can send them to ghostfacerspodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah.
That's insane. Are you proud of yourself?
I'm proud of Yokro and Scarebro
Yes.
for participating in this way.
Yeah, I like that this is the way we got there.
And don't worry, I will find a way to cram sandwich segment into every episode.
I mean, speaking of orgies,
I'll sandwich this segment
I'm going
in.
to cram it in anytime
Oh,
I can.
no. Yeah, I'm going to put some spicy cream on that sandwich.
I'm going to consensually cram that sandwich into my mouth.
Man, I really lost the thread on this one.
And so Dean asks, "What are you, a hippie?" to Cass, who initially irritated about being labeled by Dean again. Cass turns and immediately recognizes that Dean is Dean in front of him is from another
Yeah,
time.
he goes like, "Whoa, you're not you from now," and Dean is like, "I'm from the past," and he's like, "It was Zachariah," and he goes like, "Oh yeah, all right, sure." Here's the thing I like that both for Dean, future Dean, and for Cass, they just accept the most reasonable. You know what I mean? Like any other show, it would be like on Star Trek. Think of how many times there are time loops in that. They always have to fucking fight to convince someone that that's what's happening.
Yeah.
It's like, you live in a time where this happens all the time. It shouldn't be
Yes.
this hard to convince you. And I kind of like that in this episode. He goes like, "It was Zachariah," and they go, "Yeah."
That adds up.
Like, there's something
He does that. What a scam.
There's something I like about the simplicity of it.
Yeah, I
It's
like
sort of
it too.
refreshing.
Dean, mistakenly believing that Cass could simply whisk him back to his proper times, tells him to do so. When Cass giggles at the request, Dean asks him if he's stoned, and he replies, "Generally, yeah," which I really like.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This Cass is like pretty chill.
this is, or as I like to call him, Misha.
Yeah.
Because this is probably the closest to everything I've ever heard about Misha, the closest to the version of him that I'm aware of.
Yeah, possibly. Although this Cass is like more of like a burnout. Like
Yes.
he's kind of like embraced the decadence of life more out of like nihilism.
Yes,
than
100%.
it being like a thing that is like maybe like an actual like pleasure or joy or something
Sure.
like that. It's more of a just like fuck it, who gives a shit.
Yeah, let's just like live in pleasure and like
Yeah, it's like a sadder
yeah.
like yeah.
That's right where you live. It's like decadence through sadness.
I finally went to the Dairy Queen drive-through in town.
Really?
Yeah, I had to wait for so long. The line is still crazy.
I know. I drove by yesterday and I was like, Jesus.
I was probably there.
Oh my God. It was funny. I was talking
This
to.
episode's off the rails. That's the sandwich segment. Damn it. Oh, idiot. You stupid. Damn it. Talk about your flame burger. Damn it.
Oh,
Stupid.
no, you fucked it up.
Flamethrower burger.
Future Dean now returns to the camp with his fellow hunters.
Yes.
And men file out of a jeep.
They cracked some beers.
Yeah, successful mission.
Yeah, they did it. Whatever it was.
As now Dean walks towards them, future Dean raises his gun and shoots one of the members of the hunting party.
Yeah, and And then everyone kind of turns and goes like, but
Yeah. Wait a minute.
another and future Dean has to go, listen, I'll tell you when it's important. Right now we got bigger fish to fry. And they're like, all right. And future Dean basically has to explain, like, listen, this guy got fucking Croatoan bit.
Yeah.
I know the signs. I just didn't tell him because, like, why trouble a good man with bad news? And Dean's like, Jesus, like, that's pretty fucked up. And he's like, well, listen, everything's fucked up. This is how we live now.
Yeah, but maybe don't shoot somebody in front of all of these very, like, twitchy survivors that you have.
Yeah, it's probably not great leadership, but it does kind of show, like, a sort of callousness of, you know, this is a theme that's explored in so many of these kind of, like, survivalist or apocalypse kind of storylines, which is like, and the way we've chosen to survive is by, like, disconnecting ourselves from our humanity.
Yeah.
And a lot of those stories are about, like, maybe there would be a better way if you didn't do that, but it's the easier way to live with the trauma of whatever is happening.
Totally. And now Dean's like, how did you even know that guy had it? And future Dean basically says, like, over the last 5 years, like, you start finding the signs, right?
Yeah.
Like,
he's like, he would have flipped in hours.
Yeah. This is the Croats are commonplace now.
Yeah.
Which feels racist, but isn't.
Well, yeah, because it's only like a pronunciation hop, skip, and a jump from Krauts.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
It does have a very, like, propagandist.
Yeah,
which is, I mean,
it's great. Yeah.
That's what happens in war, right?
Yeah.
And again, we're talking about this thing of, like, disconnecting yourself from your humanity a bit. If that's part of the sociological theory of how to wage war is like, you've got to, like, dehumanize your enemy because you're going to have to kill a lot of them if you subscribe to needing to go to war.
Of course.
In this particular case, it's the devil, and they do.
So seeing their leader debate with this clone, however, is much more likely to freak people out.
Yeah.
So he shoves them back into that shed the cabin that he was in.
Yeah.
Future Dean warns now that to back off because this is not the time. Now Dean backs down and apologizes. Future accepts his apology and then pours a drink for both of them.
Yes.
Now Dean asks about their mission they went on, and Future Dean says they reveals the Colt.
Yeah, we fucking finally found it. They've been moving it all over the country. Like, I finally got it. I'm gonna kill the fucking devil tonight.
Yep. Future Dean has a meeting with Ryza, Castiel, and his past self. Ryza is skeptical about the capabilities of the Colt and about the prospects of finding Lucifer's whereabouts. Future Dean says that the demon they captured last week was an important member of Lucifer's entourage and has revealed the location of Lucifer.
Yes.
Ryza is dubious that a demon would be honest, but Dean assures that the intel is correct. Castiel informs her that Dean is all too well schooled in the art of getting the truth.
Yes.
Now,
and then past Dean is like, oh, we're torturing again.
Yeah.
Like I do like that. Our Dean is like, God damn it, I was doing so well.
Yeah. This is like all of the things
like
that I didn't want to be.
Backsliding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Castiel points out that where they're going is a hot zone filled with Croats and demons and suggests that rushing up to the driveway might be a bit reckless. Future Dean sternly asks Cass if he's coming. He says, of course he is, but asks Future why he is not allowing Now Dean to go.
Yeah.
Future refuses the answer and only shouting that he is coming. Cass gives up the debate, and
because Cass is like, if you bring your past self and something happens to him, then you're gone.
Yeah,
and he's like, he's coming.
Yeah. Dean is also curious as to why his future self wants him to go along. Future Dean finally reveals that he wants Now to see what happened to Sam.
Yeah, and this is where we learn that Sam said yes.
Yeah, that's right.
So Lucifer is wearing Sam.
Exactly. Oh my
God. And Future Dean is like, I said no to Michael. It's super fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, when you go back eventually, you need to say yes. I want you to see all this because you have to say yes to Michael. And Dean is like, why can't you just do it now? And he's like, I fucking tried. He's like, I've been begging, I've been screaming at the fucking stars, but like the angels are gone.
Yeah.
They gave up.
Mm-hmm.
When you're like, oh shit. So it's like
they lost.
When Well, it's not just that they lost; it's that they stopped fighting.
Yeah.
'Cause they were like, well, if we don't have Michael, then
We're done.
I guess we just forsake the world. We'll just go do our own thing.
Exactly. And
Which
Dean,
is, and that's we don't learn it we learn it in the next scene, but Cass says like that's maybe why he is the way he is too.
yeah. Well, and Dean says that like the battles would ensue, that they would torch half the planet, and future Dean points out that half a planet would be better than no planet, which is what they have now.
Yeah.
Now Dean asks why. Then he didn't just say yes eventually. Yeah, and then he basically says he's been trying.
Yeah, which is It's an interesting thing where it's like, no, now there is like a ticking clock again. It's not just like a, oh shit, I actually did have to do this. It's like a, no, we need you to just be on board.
But Dean says Dean says that he's adamant there must be another way.
Yes.
And future Dean realizes that he will not be able to convince Now Dean to submit.
Yes.
As the team departs, Chuck, who stays behind, tries to impart on Now Dean how important it is to start hoarding toilet paper, which is terrifying that he says that.
Yeah, I watched that and I was like, oh man.
I mean, you're not wrong.
The first thing that happened during COVID.
Yep. Crazy.
Which is funny that was everyone's first impulse. It wasn't really about food. It was that.
Yeah.
Even though the one thing COVID
Food did happen,
the one
but-
thing that COVID doesn't do is make you shit yourself uncontrollably.
Yeah.
Where it's like, no, like we're gonna need toilet paper. It's like, I don't know, you might need like other things.
Yeah.
First.
The food did come eventually.
Yeah, but it was weird that was the first impulse.
It is very weird. Now Dean rides shotgun with Castiel. He's curious about why the historically uptight Angel Castiel is now all about sex, drugs, and etc. Castiel says he's no longer an angel.
Yeah.
And he knows it has something to do with the other angels bailing on Earth.
He said his mojo just kind of like fittered away. Mm-hmm. Although clearly not entirely, because he still had some sort of like angelic perception of Dean.
Sure,
you
yeah.
could tell he was out of time.
Yeah.
But he's like, nah, like I'm mortal. I broke my foot and I was like laid up for 2 months. Like I'm fucking useless. So I guess decadence is the way it is.
Yeah, he's just
again, very
depressed.
kind of like a nihilist sort of version of that. It's a way less kind of like joyous or celebratory
Yeah.
or like, shouldn't we enjoy what life has to go? It's more of a like, fuck it.
Totally.
Yeah.
The next morning, the group arrives in a city torn down by the infection. They search and finally locate the building they need to break into.
That's right.
Future Dean, Ryza, and Castiel prepare their weapons.
Yeah, and Future Dean is like, you're going to go in through the front. And Dean is like, hey, Future me, can I talk to you?
Yeah.
And he's like, this place should be like crawling. And he's like, why are they going in through the front? And Dean's like, because they're the distraction.
Yeah.
And you're just going to sacrifice your friends? Cass? You're just going to let them all fucking die so you can get a shot? He's like, yeah, I'm going to get a shot at the fucking devil. This is what's happening. And Dean's like, I'm not letting you do that. And he knocks Dean out.
Yeah. And he's basically...
Art Dean. He knocks Art Dean out.
He tells the team to basically go through a second story window.
Yeah.
Now Dean senses that something is amiss and pulls Future Dean away for the talk, and we already talked about that. Look, it's hard. There's a lot of things that they said that we don't say, so it's hard to keep up.
We've only been doing this for a couple of years.
Yeah, it's not the point. Future Dean, it's his job to kill Lucifer and save what's left of the planet.
Yes.
Then he knocks him out. Now Dean wakes up up to the sight and sound of gunfire from the second floor.
Yeah.
He runs.
This is like a well shot piece.
The whole
too.
thing.
I mean, the whole episode is, but this is a well shot piece too. Like we see like the muzzle flares and stuff in the building, and we see like Dean kind of moving through the yard or whatever of this place. It feels very hopeless.
Yeah.
Because the fight's already started.
Mm-hmm.
It's presumably going poorly.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, yeah, and Dean. Yeah. Now Dean sort of is trying to run around the building to see if he can help, just in time to share eyes with Future Dean, who is pinned by Lucifer in Sam's body.
Yeah.
With his foot.
Yeah. Future Dean's on the ground. Lucifer Sam is like holding him by the neck, with his foot, stepping on his neck.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
What I wouldn't give.
Yeah, if only that was Ellen. And then and Dean is like reaching for the Colt and doesn't get there, and Sam like snaps future Dean's neck and kills him.
Yeah.
And then turns around and goes, "Oh, hey, Dean." "Oh, hi, Mark."
Lucifer approaches Dean.
"I did not kill him. I did not."
Lucifer approaches Dean, who asks Lucifer, "Why didn't you just kill him too?" Lucifer looks at the body of future Dean and states that it would have been redundant. Lucifer says that he realizes how traumatizing it must be for Dean to see him and his brother's body.
Yeah.
And that it's the only way things could have turned out.
Here's what I want to say about this as we're getting into it. Mm-hmm. The writing for Lucifer is we're still going down this road of like, listen, I do some things that are unpleasant, but I'm not gonna lie to you. And am I so wrong? Am I so bad? I love God, and He asked us to love you, filthy fucking apes, better.
Mm-hmm.
But like, was that really like a crime? Is a punishment that I faced fit the crime? Like, the dialogue is doing all that. Jared's performance,
it's definitely more menacing.
Lacks some of the nuance and the charisma
of Mark Pellegrino.
Yeah,
100%.
Or even of like the actor that was playing like Nick's wife.
Sure,
like it's. I think we've talked about it before, but Jared playing like the bad.
Yeah,
it's not 100% a write-off, but it has a tendency to like feel awkward.
Feels like
I think the only
putting
time,
on
the only
persona.
time I've really kind of dug it was whatever that episode was where he got possessed.
Sure,
when we had Laura on,
and Laura had feelings.
Yeah, like that one. I think he does a good job, and this one kind of feels like
I'm an evil villain.
This is like. Maybe not super relatable for everyone, but like when you're in theater school, there's this when you're like
and you have a 4-way.
No, when you're like learning how to act, there's this sort of transition everyone has to go through where you realize that learning to do the thing you're supposed to be doing is really about doing the opposite.
Sure.
When you're supposed to play drunk, what you're actually doing is pretending to be sober.
Sure.
Because that's what drunk people do.
Yeah.
And when you're bad, you're actually pretending to be reasonable.
Yes.
Because that's what bad people do.
Yeah.
And it feels like Sam he's still pretending to be bad.
Yes.
And as opposed to just playing a thing and letting the menace come through in what he's saying or the circumstance that he just snapped someone's neck and now he's saying it, he's still playing the like, oh, you filthy apes. Like, he's playing the twitches. He's playing more like maniacal. I mean, he's not like cackling or anything, but like he's playing that as opposed to playing the fact that like if you were just being calm and reasonable in this circumstance, the menace will come through.
Exactly. The actions and the writing will do it.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
You don't need to be trying to be perceived as that. Yeah.
Exactly. And that's what I feel like we're always running up against with Jared.
Yeah.
Is that he's
trying to like
he's like, I need to be different than Sam. I need to play bad.
Yeah.
I'm Lucifer.
And it's like, no, the writing and the things
it would
that
actually
you're
be
doing.
creepier if he was like very much like Sam, but just saying the words we'd know Lucifer would say.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But he doesn't believe that God charging Michael to cast him into hell was a punishment befitting of his crime.
Yes.
Dean retorts that he is not buying Lucifer's sympathy for the devil crap. Ironically, the title of the first episode.
Yeah. Still haven't paid for that song.
Yeah. The only difference between him and the monsters that he's been hunting and killing his whole life is the size of his ego.
Yeah.
Lucifer smiles and declares that he likes him. He gets what the other angels see in him. Lucifer says goodbye, they'll meet again soon, and starts to walk away. A distraught Dean shouts after him that he should have killed him now, or else Dean won't stop until he finds a way to kill him. Lucifer replies that he's well aware and that he will try, and he knows that he will not say yes to Michael, and he knows that he would never kill Sam. But no matter what the choice or the details Dean changes, Lucifer says the two of them will always end up where they are, right now.
Yeah.
Lucifer calls it his win, regardless of the change, and Dean tearfully tells him that he's wrong. Lucifer gives him another condescending smiles and says, "See you in 5 years, Dean."
Yeah.
He vanishes as Dean turns to see Zachariah, who promptly zaps Dean back to his KC hotel room in 2009, back to his time.
Yeah.
Dean is not pleased to
And
see
he's
this
like,
angel.
"You fucking get it now?"
Yeah.
Like, it's bad. You did this. You have to,
Just say yes.
like we can strike now before Lucifer even gets Sam.
Yeah.
Like we could win this even early. You're worried about the big fight. Like then let's do this now.
Yeah.
And I do think Dean is thinking about it.
Yeah.
I don't think he's 100% sure the whole time. I think he is weighing it.
Sure.
But he kind of eventually just goes like, "Nah." And Zachariah's like, "Nah, you little piece of shit." And I don't know if you clocked this, but when Dean says "nah," and then Zachariah is like, "Well, then I'm just going to fucking teach you this fucking lesson again." Zachariah moves towards him, and to me, it looked like his legs don't move. It looked like he like glides, like in a really kind of like
I didn't even realize that.
that's the way it looked to me. I don't know if that's actually what happened or not, but like there was something kind of unnatural about how he got closer to Dean, and I was like, "Oh shit." Because Zachariah is saying like, "Then I'm just going to teach you this goddamn lesson again because I have you now, and I'm never going to let you go." Hey, wait, where'd you go?
Yeah.
And Dean is gone.
Castiel zaps him to his
And
location.
even Zachariah is like, "Oh, that son of a..."
Yeah.
And then we...
Love it.
Yeah,
Oh.
Cass is there with Dean.
Still standing on
Dean's
the
like,
roadside.
"Oh my God, thank you." And he's like, "Well, we had an appointment."
Yeah, fucking. Oh God, I love it.
It's a really good moment.
And Dean says, "Don't ever change."
Yeah.
Castiel asks how Zachariah located Dean. He tells him that it's a long story, but that they should steer clear of Jehovah's Witnesses. From now on, he takes out his phone and starts to dial. Cass asks what he's doing, and he replies, "Something I should have done in the first place."
Yeah.
As Dean leans against the baby on an off-road stop,
We cut to the bridge we're always at.
it's so
in this
funny.
show.
Let's meet at the place.
Yeah. You know where.
Yeah. We can't not do. It's just Cass now.
Yeah. The bridge where it all began.
Yeah. Oh my God. And we'll end.
I mean, truly, we return to this like trestle bridge
Yes.
thing all the goddamn time. It's a great location. I don't blame them.
But I liked it because they kind of keep going back to the same place because it's like, yeah, that's where we meet up. That's
Yeah, theoretically, they'll drive wherever, Like,
yeah. Oh God. The thing is like right across the street. No, we got to backtrack. We got to start from the spot.
I'll meet you at the Dairy Queen drive-thru. I'll be there for a while.
Yeah. Sam drives up, gets out of his car, and approaches Dean, looking somewhat wary and weary.
Yeah. And it's this sort of thing where like Dean is like, he gives him the knife back. He goes like, "If you're gonna do this,"
Well, he pulls out the knife because
Yeah.
you're like, oh shit, he's gonna do it.
I think that's how they're setting it up, but like it never really feels like he's gonna do that.
Sure.
But yeah, he kind of pulls it out and he goes, "Well, you're gonna need this. You're probably rusty or whatever." And Sam's like, "I'm so sorry. I'm so fucking sorry." And Dean's like, it's fine, but like,
Oops.
yeah. Dean basically says like, we probably are each other's weakness, but like it's not gonna be any better apart.
Yeah.
If we're gonna do this, we should do this together. He says, "You're the second best hunter in the world."
Which is an incredible line.
It's an incredible line for a lot of reasons, but I really like that one.
And they decide that they're gonna make their own future.
Yeah.
Because they've got free will, baby.
And Sam goes like, "Thank you.
Oops.
I deserve this."
I deserve this.
Yeah.
That is the end of the episode.
Yeah.
So, a few things to talk about here. Jensen Ackles says that playing the alternate version of Dean, the future version of him, was one of the most challenging versions of Dean he's done. He had to make Dean recognizable but different, all while playing present-day Dean as well. Jared Padalecki frequently says that this is one of his favorite of Ackles' performances, while Ackles also frequently says that Padalecki's turn as Lucifer in the white suit is one of his favorite performances of Padalecki to date, which is maybe just like him going, "Yeah, you too, man."
Really?
Yeah, I know.
I can't. Yeah.
Also, the injustice of having an off-white shirt
There are
underneath
good
a white suit. Hold on,
Yeah.
this is important.
Sorry, yes. This is a particular gripe you have.
The off-white shirt under a stark, cool white jacket is the most upsetting part of this entire.
It's bordering
episode.
on cream-colored shirt.
It's
and a pure white.
Yes, and in the juxtaposition to that jacket, it just makes it look more cream.
Yeah,
it's
like spicy cream.
Never mind, I'm back on board. No, I like it. It's good.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, it's good. I like it. Yeah, Padalecki has way better performances than this. Like,
there are great Sam episodes. This isn't one of them. He's barely in this, and he's like kind of fine.
I wonder if Ackles only just says that when he says like, Jensen, this is your best, and Jensen's like, you too, man.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Are you working any sort of like
shows?
shows?
Like Bad
or?
Day at Black Rock. I agree. That's a fun Sam performance.
Yeah.
Like Mystery Spot is a great Sam performance. Like there are better Jared episodes.
I bet it's just in the context of him complimenting him.
It must be. There's no way this episode ranks for that.
No. And then Sam Jared,
Season 6 is full of a bunch of good Sam episodes.
And then Jared goes like, "Hey, also like, are you working on any of the other like supernatural shows?" And
yeah, because if you don't tell me, I'll kill myself on Twitter. We should also just say like Jared just recently got in like a crazy car accident.
Oh yeah, we haven't talked about that.
And he's recovering, which is great.
We don't know.
It was like a very serious car accident, but we know very little about it.
Yeah, from what Jensen has said, it's like a miracle that he's alive, let alone like,
which is wild. Yeah, you're like, holy shit.
But yeah, there's no conversation about like any injuries actually sustained in this yet.
Yeah, but supposedly he is recovering and doing well, which is
good, and
he's
he's like actually like going back to set or something, because I think I heard that he's like, and Jensen's like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Like,
so I mean, it's good that he's all right.
Yeah,
but also tell him if you're working on something supernatural related.
Yeah. Also, speaking of car crashes, that wreck of a performance, Jesus.
Wow. Please don't tweet at him.
Yeah, please, God. So there was mixed opinion among fans as to whether the future shown here is real or merely constructed by Zachariah to persuade Dean to become Michael's vessel.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's fair because it does very clearly lay out the like, and if you don't say yes now, you can't do it later.
Yes.
Like, it does feel kind of like and even Dean says it in the episode. He's like, how can I fucking trust you? You expect me to just believe shit you put me through?
Sure. But commentary on this episode in the DVD by Ben Edlund and Eric Kripke supports that this is the alternate universe model rather than time travel.
Right.
On his Twitter, Ben Edlund says that in his mind, the end universe is an alternate reality similar to what we'll see in the French Mistake coming up.
Right.
This would make the place Dean is taken to by Zachariah a potential future of an alternate reality.
Right.
Which is interesting.
Sure.
But yeah, that is the end of the episode. Let's talk about our reviews. What do you think about this episode?
The Sam performances aside, this episode is actually a great showcase of performances.
Sure,
Jensen is doing a great job playing two versions of Dean, and again, being authentic to both.
He's doing the thing that we want Jared to be doing.
Exactly. He's not going like, and I'm a mean Dean. He's just like, it's just coming through.
Yes.
Misha plays two different Casses in this episode and does a great job.
God, what the best job on this show is to be Castiel. It's just it
only gets better too. Yeah. I like the idea that it's not. I love the thing that Supernatural does, where it's like these big cosmic things are like the angels have like abandoned us. The devil has like won. There's a demon virus, but it's not like instant.
No,
they've been fighting this for like
5 years.
For 5 years, there's still survivors. It's so much worse.
Could you imagine?
Than just like, and the devil won, and it was like.
Could you imagine like a pandemic that just feels like it just drags on and never really goes?
I mean,
away?
Here's the other thing. Going back and watching this episode, you're like, oof. It's bad.
Yep.
I don't mean bad like it's a bad episode. I just mean like, oh man, if they only knew.
Mm-hmm. Somebody should have taken the future and showed.
Yeah. Kurt Fuller, always great.
the best.
I think this is one of the best shot episodes we've seen in a long time.
Totally.
I mean, and that's not a slight on our other regular directors or things like that. Like Supernatural in general
just a high
is very
action
well
episode.
shot, but there's some innovation. There's some new things, new tricks that we're seeing, and we get to show off the fact that they have this really awesome, these cool sets, and stuff like that. And they put a lot of work into the art direction and stuff on this episode, and we're really experiencing it with like tracking camera movements and some interesting dynamics and things like that. That way, even that shot in Baby where there's like Dean is leaned down in the window and then he gets knocked out and then it moves up and we see the other Dean, or a later scene where future Dean brings 2 drinks, you watch him put them on the table, grab one, and then the other Dean grabs one. Like these are things we don't think about, but those are like cool like camera tricks and visual
a lot of blocking
and visual effects tricks that are very specific. They require like in camera and digital components. They're like, there's a lot of like craft on display, like cinema craft on display in this episode that I think really helps. It brings it to life. I think there's cool kind of lore implications. Obviously we get like finally the brothers are fucking back together, all that kind of stuff. I would give this, I think I'd give this a 4.25 getting ready for the orgy.
Oh, nice. I don't know if that's like a thing, but...
Oh, it's a thing. Wait, let me get the sandwich music.
Oh, no. No, thank you. I think I sort of largely feel exactly how you do. I always love this episode. I think the like orgy cast is like infamous performance. Everybody remembers that sort of part of it. It's such a funny thing to think about.
It's funny, but part of what is so good about it is you could play it just comedy, like I'm a cast who sucks now. But it's like it's deeply sad.
Yeah. There's a lot of nuance in that performance and in the writing of it too.
Yes. Yeah.
I definitely really like that. Yeah, the entire like the set design is incredible. The sort of like the amount of people in this is a lot,
and
like
vehicles and like like this is an expensive episode. This is very clearly an expensive episode.
Yeah, 100%. Sam's performance is definitely like in juxtaposition to everything else not great, but there's a place for like some silly like maniacal, but I think the biggest problem with that is that he's not taking anything from like what Mark Pellegrino has done.
That's not what we've set up for Lucifer so far. Like if Lucifer came out of the gate being like then you'd be like, yeah, fucking ham it up.
It's a bit too like mustache twiddling.
It is.
And also like not a character that like when you see Mark Pellegrino, he doesn't like dress up.
I also feel like it's not menacing enough.
Sure, yeah.
Like Sam's, like when Lucifer and Sam face off, whatever, 2 episodes ago, or last episode, or whenever it happened, that's like menacing. Yeah. Even though he's not like holding them or like there's nothing like that, but there's a menace to that. There's no menace in Jared as Lucifer, because we don't even get to see. Like, I think part of the problem is the foot thing.
Yeah.
If he choked Dean, then you go like, well, no, like he's like looking at him.
Yeah.
You know, like that's brother and brother, and he, like I think that we're too removed from it.
But also not in a way that is also interesting. Like it doesn't feel like a detached performance.
Yeah, you're right. Exactly. It just kind of feels like he doesn't know what he wants to do with it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's the problem with it. Yeah. So I think I'm on the same page as you. I think I'm going to give it also 4.25 spicy cream shirts.
Wow. That's a spicy cream shirt.
Just like a mama used to make.
Yeah. Parco Jurassico.
I like that the other day you told me you were just doing that to yourself around the house.
In particular, I always keep coming back to the like, the scientists are so concerned of whether or not they could the mega dinosaur. They never consider whether or not they should the mega dinosaur.
It's very funny.
So dumb.
I love it. So yeah, those are our reviews.
Yeah.
But before we go, we've got a note from a fellow hunter.
Ooh.
So, hey guys, I love the show. I wrote in because I appreciate the Dean horniness.
Yes.
As everyone should and does.
do.
But this time, I'm interested in your thoughts on the time travel aspect of the end.
Right.
It's talking about this episode.
Sure.
We know time travel is real in this show since Dean ends up going to like the past 6 times.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I believe that he really went to the future. So we talked a little bit about
Sure,
this.
yes,
If he went to the future and then made new decisions based on what he saw that changed the future, that's a paradox. So I think it could more likely be an alternate universe, which we said that they did confirm in the commentary.
Yes.
Which we do find out later on this possible spoiler or a complete manipulation by Zachariah, like the trickster does. I have many other feelings, but this is a great episode, and this is something I've never seen or heard anyone talk about. So I'd like to know what you all think, and I think it was proven, and I kind of felt that way from the beginning.
I'll throw something in from comic books.
Sure.
Because you have to do a lot of this with comic book stories.
Sure.
So there's a thing, at least in DC Comics, which we obviously talk about a bunch, where they kind of technically they all kind of connect in some way, but there's a difference between alternate universes, parallel universes, and timelines.
Sure.
So there's the idea that like there are multiple possible timelines, possible futures, and your decisions in our universe can affect those. But there's also alternate universes where something just happened differently or just transpired differently. Nothing you do in your time changes what happens there.
Yeah.
Because they're separate universes. For me, this feels like a timeline in our universe.
Sure.
I mean, I know they've said differently, so that's how they interpreted it. For me, I see this as like a timeline, and if Dean does something different, it doesn't happen anymore.
Sure.
Or it happens differently. Versus a different universe, which is like a thing, spoilers, this show will get to, is other universes, where it doesn't matter if Dean calls Sam or not. That universe happens the way it happens, because it's its own thing that has its own possible futures and timelines. So there's as far as physics is concerned, that's probably all bullshit. But like storytelling wise, that's the way I tend to think about those things, and that just comes from having read comics where it's like Batman went back in time. It's like, well, it's not always another universe, right?
Sure.
It's just like a timeline in our, we always have to kind of juggle those things. Mm-hmm. So that's, I think, how I view that.
Awesome. Love from a fellow Dean girl, Laura. P.S. In case it somehow didn't already come up, do you think Dean and Cass were fucking in the apocalypse future?
Oh,
and
I hope so.
And how hot do you think the thigh holster is?
I'd give the thigh holster a muy picante.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. 100,000 Scovilles. Yeah. Do I think Dean and Cass? I think maybe Dean and Cass have had an encounter in this future. I don't know that it's like a regular ongoing thing. Like, I don't think this is the Destiel future, but
sure.
I bet they've like, if orgies are happening, I bet you Dean has like joined in.
Much like Creed says on The Office, there was a lot of mud, bodies were touching. Could a guy have slipped in? Sure, why not?
Absolutely, yeah. I think it's That's my thoughts on that.
100%.
Although I will continue to think about that.
Thank you so much, Laura.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I love that. So if you want to keep this conversation about whether Dean and Cass be fucking in the future, you can do so if you join our Patreon.
That's right. Patreon.com/Ghostfacers. It's only $1 a month and gives you access to Angel Radio, our awesome community Discord server. And all sorts of people are in there. We're chatting about episodes and monsters and memes and all sorts of fun stuff. And it helps to support us.
Absolutely. And also, if you are maybe a physicist and you want to comment on our thought on
I would
alternate
love
universes,
to get a physicist in.
or just a very smart accountant,
Or that.
Yeah. Make sure that you send us an email about a past or future episode that's coming up or already went past.
That's right.
At ghostfacerspodcast@gmail.com.
That's right.
You can also send us drops there, I guess, too.
Yeah. Yeah, if you think Dad's Journal needs a drop, if like the real segments, if we got drops for the real segments of the show, I think that would be good.
If you can find a tasteful way to do an international titles, I'd love to
I
hear it.
am worried.
I would love to hear it.
Yikes.
Guan.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm worried about. I'm worried that it's just going to be like a gong, a sitar, drums.
Or reach out to us on our various social media platforms.
Yeah, we're at GhostfacersPod on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Don't forget to subscribe for whatever sort of podcatcher you use so you can get the episode automatically in your feed every single week. It also helps us out if you want to continue to help us out. Would you give us a 5-star review while you're on there? If it's not on Apple Podcasts or on Facebook, you might have to just send us a screenshot so we can read it on a future episode. Also, if you want to continue that support even further and wear it and so the whole world can see how much you love this podcast, you can buy our merch.
Yeah, buy our merch. GhostfacersPodcastStore.com.
That's right. And if you like what we do here, we already talked about comic books once today. Yeah. I think you might be interested in potentially entering into the multiverse that is DC.
That's right. The Dr. DC podcast is our other show. We answer listener questions. We talk about different characters and topics and themes in the world of DC Comics. I do think there's some valid cross-pollination
100%.
of especially as we get into
Speaking
things
of
like
origins.
Time travel and how powers work and the cosmos and things like that. I think there's if you like how we talk about that stuff over here, you may enjoy how we talk about the versions of those things that happen over in superhero world.
That's right. There's enough spicy cream to go around.
I don't know, man. I don't think it's going to
for
catch
this week.
on.
Say goodbye, bitch.
Jerk.
This was a Brain Freeze podcast.